Well, it seemed like a good idea, even though I wasn't completely done with the turn, to play out the events at the end of the gray player's turn. And actually, I don't think I've dealt with his Dark Hunters here, who could do something. Not quite sure what they can do. D, is that a critter? Yeah, we got a mess here. He can pick up that bone shovel, and he actually can. 1, 2, 3. Just grab that. That'll reduce some of the processing, at least I have to do mentally. And give us, we're out of wandering monster counters, but that may get fixed here. All right. All unclaimed items, spells, resources, and wandering monsters in throne room pits move counterclockwise. Now, of course, this is weird because my clockwise is counterclockwise and vice versa. So, we're going to move anything in between throne room pits. I got a pile here. This isn't a throne room pit, is it? Yeah, this is, and this is. This isn't. And it's becoming harder and harder to, differentiate because I've started fiddling with the terrain. But there, that's gone. We'll say that's good enough. Abyssic Greed. 2 spawn rolls. Place spawn in the pit. Well, that's pretty easy. We've got us some 2 gore. 2 gore. And a card from the metal deck. Hey, good thing I found I got that counter, huh? Because now I need it. Alright, the pit's becoming harder to find too. My God, what a mess. Oh boy. Alright. Now is this one. Afraid I may not have shuffled enough to get all these. Roll a d4 for the type of resource and an amount. Place the blessing d12 from the pit. And it's this guy's turn. He gets to choose it. He's going to find some 4 black fire. And yeah, we don't usually go into this, but there were so many here. And I get a 1 hex from the pit. Let's leave that lying here, I guess. Alright, and the last one, clanking of the pit. Hearing a clanking sound, all wandering monsters move full movement towards the throne room 4. Which one's 4? These are out of the originals. 1, 2, 3 is somewhere over here. I think 4's under here. So they're going to all move towards the guy. I wish he rolled a die for it or something, because I think this is the only one that does this. I'm not sure, but I certainly don't remember 4 different clanking of the pits in the game. Monsters must stop adjacent to any player squads. Okay, so that indicates that monsters don't normally have to stop adjacent to player squads when they're moving, which is largely how I've been playing it. Alright, well, we got a lot of wandering monsters to hunt down, ranging from all the way up here through huge tons through here, and everything's going to be rushing. And this poor guy's probably not going to survive the next turn. He's got a huge necromancer, so maybe he will. But the game is turning against him at this point. I'm going to have to go away in order to deal with these, because I don't want to look, many of these aren't even monsters. And they're all scrambled up all over the place, unlike at the beginning of the game. Okay, well, the net effect is some consolidation and combat capability. One thing is, this little thing brought the eyeballs next to me. But yeah, I've got some big stacks here. Now, I had control over the movement, but they have to move as directly as possible by my reading. I have control because it was on my turn. So here I've got this little death thruster with the eyes, great. But I also have the necrotic devil in that stack. And over in this stack, I have the necromonk there. There wasn't room for the armored slug in there, unless some item does that. Gives him the right for that. Whoever's attacking, I guess, gets to choose which items he's actually carrying or actually utilizing. Most of these are just in a pile next to him. Well, I guess whoever the other players get to choose. We've got an attack over here with the decapitator hitting, what is it? The Dark Hunters. That's not... That's going to be a close fight for them to survive. Over here, what do we got? Well, these we knew, but we got some additional forces with the insectoid throwing its weight into that. So that's now become a harder fight. So it's almost like Gray is now facing most of Purple's forces in sort of this weird backlash from the events. And now we'll be on the last couple turns, perhaps. But they're going to be kind of bloody because of the random monsters. We got an attack over here. This thing woke up and charged in. These things kind of staggering their way towards it, just making things messier. All those wandering monsters don't just serve as a threat to the potential winner, but they also serve as a barrier. Because all I could do is move up next to him and attack him. I wouldn't be able to do anything else at that point. I can't even take the eyeball because it would be during my turn when I moved up next to him. So instead I moved close, cast myself a new critter, this Stabist, who picked up the Thunder Sword, charged up and killed a couple little critters, the guy who could ooze through the rock and the one with the special mind ability that only works on your own turn, and just knocked them out of the way. Otherwise positioning myself and staying away from the red player who could, if I got too close to him, grab one of my critters and just take it away from me in the midst of my turn. That would of course use up his ability for the game, but right now he has no ability to influence anything. Yeah, we'll go see if he does. I also started digging with these necromonks. Well, it looks like red finally got to do something vaguely useful. I'm actually going to shift some of these items around. I was able to cast this Hunched Hulk, which is starting to dig. And he's a faster digger, but he's going to be digging, I guess, his own hex, hoping to free everything, basically. But I now have some more capacity to carry things, so I cast some of my stuff, including this Idol of Monster Control. Now, when I cast it, I get a use. That's how I identify. That's how I interpret the roles on the items. And it says control any wandering monster for D4 rounds. Well, I got a one-turn roll. I took the guy who has the eyes, ran him to here. Now he's blocked, and he had to fight. Well, actually, he didn't have to fight. So yeah. Because remember, I don't force you to fight on your own round. Since I only got one round with him, I lose him now. And now he's a little further away, and that makes it a little harder for Gray to grab him. I thought it would be over pretty soon. I'm not so sure now. The ogre rather handily took care of whatever was facing him. I discarded it already. I think it was this insectoid. And then these two are under attack by the necromancer. This is the pre-turn battle, but the necromancer still has the astral worm. He's able to get control of something. The necromonk here, who's armed with one of these pieces of equipment, he gets control of him using the attack on the special. And we have numbers like this. It looks like it's automatic that I'm going to be able to defeat what I'm next to, which is M here. I got like 18-point difference there, 11 points there, 15 there, only 6 there, 22, 23. So if I take the top 3 up here, I've got automatic victories across the board. And then the necromonk dies as well. So that's going to be done pretty quickly, and then we go on to his actual player turn. But he's got a problem because there's still this death thruster here, which maybe he could bribe or something, but he's got to deal with the armored slug as well. So he may need more than one critter to be able to get a hold of these. Now, if he bribes them, the death thruster has a movement of 6. He didn't take whatever his item was. He had something that let him move quickly at one point. And then he can start sliding that back in his direction. So maybe it is over, maybe it's not. It depends on how much I have for bribe. I split off my little trinket snake armor. It's slow, so actually, why don't I split off the shriek? Because then that can travel with it. Move next to these, and I've bribed both of them. I have 2 squads open for them, so I was able to actually afford them both. Although I think I actually needed the card that I drew to have enough metal to pay them off. So we'll grab those, and then we'll see how fast the death thruster can move. I might be able to slip an item that'll give +2 movement to the stack, and I don't think I can move it fast enough. Can I move it through these? Yeah, I can move it through them. These are just trinkets moving. Okay, so I missed. That away, that was a movement marker, and I kind of like where he is. I missed one attack that had to be made here. This guy ended up getting killed. That was one of mine. He got beat up by this. These guys are kind of blocking the pathway to make it more difficult. Now, I don't think I've done an action yet with my dude. Oh, I had a cursed tooth of speed. That give me 3 extra movement. If I play a black fire and one of these, that'll give me 3 extra movement. Now the problem is I can't move these 2. They're going to have to be left behind, but I can keep running and put this here and make it even further away from any potential attack. So yeah, it looks like it's over. I'll play through the last turn just to see if anybody can get there. But it's going to be pretty damn tough to catch this thing. One of the things was I was able to stack with these things and absorb them into my stack, and that was kind of more powerful. But I can just run through them and grab the eyeballs and keep going. I don't know which makes more sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what? I'm gonna keep my stack together for that extra strength. Now, one interesting thing, trinket critters are never affected by bombs for the most part. I mean, there are some that destroy everything, but most of them are triggered on particular sizes, and trinkets are never included in that size. It's either small or, so, they're very, very defensible. That doesn't really matter, but if somebody kills my necromancer, I'm out of it, which is why I want to keep those with it. I think I'm safer just in case somebody's able to blast through. After yellow goes, we're pushing the game. Oh shit, I forgot to fight this battle. We're pushing the game to the limits. They got an event, and I'm using things like dice to indicate that there are monsters. Every spawn pit grew a monster. Could have caused a card. Could have caused a potential problem to the necromancer here. I'm next to one, but I could probably defeat most things, and the one I'm next to turned out to just be a shield. So far I'm still getting in there. Red's gonna have the last option to do anything. The only question is, can I kill this? I lost my stabist here, but then I forgot to do this battle, and I'll take care of that. I'm not sure which way that goes. It turned out the armored slug was defeated. That's going to freeze this thing for a d4 turns, but I'm not counting on the game lasting another turn. It's going to be 2 turns. I'll put this die there just to remind me. Now we see if red can get any other things out. There's a possibility, because they're finishing up I don't know, they're starting a dig. They've only got maybe 2 if they've got, no, they got nothing. Yeah, it doesn't look promising at all, unless they pull a spell. Even a spell isn't going to help. Some kind of item that allows them, or an event that allows them to get out. The event's not going to help either. Yeah, I think it's over. Red was able to draw an event that caused some wandering monsters to move. It actually does make a little bit of a difference. However, the power of this, I'm sure, is going to win that fight. So right now, we're facing what? P. This is just automatically wiped out. So we're going to kill this. I'm not going to worry about placing the gore because I've got a movement allowance of 3 with my Magi, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and everything else is faster, if anything. I can't get next to this, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Game over. And that was one hell of a chaotic game. Most of the two-player games that I've played have been very, very focused, with each player kind of feeling out, standing off where they think they don't have a chance to fight. And sometimes you're holding a position, where you think you've got the advantage, but you need to draw another card. The other person's just not sure if you have it or if they have it, but eventually someone decides they have the advantage, and they charge across and they hit, and it's over. I mean, it really is. I had one game where I was severely undergunned and ended up caving in lots of stuff.